The vicious 2025 story movie begins with a dark screen and the voice of a woman named Polly. She sounds very sad and defeated. She admits that she does not want to be herself anymore. She says she is tired of feeling like nothing matters. She tries so hard, banging her head against the wall every day, but nothing changes. She feels stuck, like she is standing in the same place while life moves on without her. A voice asks her what she wants, and Polly answers simply that she just wants the pain to stop. We then see Polly arriving at her home. It is a large house, but it looks messy and neglected inside. She checks her phone and listens to several voicemails. One is from a pottery class asking where she has been. Another is from her sister Lainey reminding her to pick up a cake. And one is from her boss telling her she has to work a double shift because she has no other plans. Finally, her mother leaves a message asking if she is ready for a job interview. It is clear that Polly is depressed and often ignores the people who care about her. She pours herself a drink to calm her nerves and tries to practice for her interview in the mirror, but she struggles to say anything positive about herself. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. Polly is confused because she isn't expecting anyone. She opens the door and finds an elderly woman standing there in the cold. The old woman looks confused and shivering. She says she doesn't know where she is and thought she knew someone who lived there. Polly tells her that Mrs. Trott lives next door, but the woman seems lost. Polly notices the woman is freezing, so she kindly invites her inside to warm up. The old woman enters and asks for a glass of water. As Polly hands her the water, she notices that the old woman is missing several fingers on her hand, which looks like an old healed injury. Polly asks if she wants to use a phone to call someone. The woman says she doesn't know how to use modern phones, but has her son's number on a card. They sit by the fire, and the old woman begins to ask personal questions. She asks if Polly is married or has children. Polly says no to both. The woman comments that the house is too big for one young woman. Polly explains that she rents the house from her sister, Lainey, who moved out to have a bigger yard for her daughter, Allie. The conversation takes a strange turn. The old woman stares at Polly and says, "I am going to start now." She looks terrified. She reaches into her bag and pulls out an old wooden box. She places it on the table and says, "This will be for you now." She opens the box and takes out an hourglass full of sand. She flips it over and the sand begins to fall. Then she looks Polly in the eyes and says, "You are going to die." Polly is shocked and asks what she is talking about. The old woman tells her that she can be sad or scared, but it won't change the truth. She says Polly will die tonight unless she follows the rules. Terrified, Polly stands up and tells the woman to leave. The woman warns her not to call the police and not to tell anyone, saying, "Don't you dare." Polly puts the hourglass back in the box and forces the woman out the front door. Before she leaves, the old woman calls Polly by her name. Polly asks how she knows her name, and the woman mysteriously says she thought this was a nightmare, but she didn't wake up, and Polly won't wake up either. Polly locks the door, her heart racing. She looks out the window and sees the wooden box sitting in the middle of the street. The woman must have left it there. Polly calls her mom and tries to explain what happened, but her mom thinks she is just stressed about the interview or that it was a prank. Her mom tells her to focus on what she is going to wear tomorrow. While still on the phone, Polly goes outside and nudges the box with her foot. She eventually brings it inside, though she doesn't remember doing so later. She goes upstairs to try on clothes for her interview. She takes photos and texts them to her mom. As she scrolls through the pictures, she sees a strange woman's reflection in the mirror behind her in one of the photos. Suddenly, a ghostly whisper calls her name. Polly runs downstairs, shaking. She lights a cigarette to calm down. Her phone buzzes. It is her mom again. Polly tells her mom she feels like someone is in the house. Her mom tries to soothe her, telling her to get some sleep. Polly hangs up and sits on the couch. That is when she notices the wooden box is sitting right on the coffee table in front of her. She is certain she didn't put it there. She calls her mom back, panic in her voice. She opens the box and sees that the sand in the hourglass has stopped falling. Her mom's voice on the phone suddenly changes. It becomes deep and menacing. The voice says, "Polly, I am not your mother." The entity on the phone laughs and tells her she is going to die because she is too slow. The voice starts singing a creepy song. Polly hangs up, but the phone rings again immediately. She answers, thinking it is her mom, but the voice returns. It tells Polly that they know everything about her. They know she feels no connection to anyone and barely feels anything at all. The entity gives Polly the rules. To survive, she must put 3 things inside the box: something she hates, something she needs, and something she loves. The voice warns, "We will know when you lie." Polly stares at the box. She needs to act fast. She whispers the rules to herself. She looks at her cigarette pack. She knows she should quit, and she hates that she smokes. She says, "Something I hate," puts the cigarettes in the box and closes it. She waits, but nothing happens. Suddenly, the sand in the hourglass starts falling again. Polly begins to choke and cough violently. She feels something in her throat and spits out a key. She grabs the key and runs out of the house, banging on her neighbor's door. The neighbor woman opens the door, talking on the phone to her husband.
Polly begs to use the phone to call the police, saying hers isn't working properly. The neighbor reluctantly lets her in, but keeps talking to her husband, ignoring Polly's panic. Polly stands there, desperate. Suddenly, the neighbor stops talking. She looks at Polly with a blank stare and says, "The police just called." The neighbor grabs a knife from the counter. Her voice changes, sounding like the entities from the box. She says, "Look what you made me do." Then the neighbor slices her own throat and collapses, smiling as she dies. On the neighbor's chest, Polly sees the words, "Don't you dare," scratched into the skin. Horrified, Polly runs back to her own house. She washes the blood off her hands. She checks the box and sees the sand is running low. She knocks the table off the table in anger, but when she turns around, the box is back on the table, perfectly upright. A picture frame falls off the wall, and Polly's face in the photo looks twisted and distorted. Her phone rings. The caller ID says Dad. Polly freezes. Her father passed away some time ago. She answers and hears her father's voice. She screams that he is dead, but the voice tells her not to say that. Polly cries that she put the cigarettes in the box, but her father tells her she lied. She didn't really hate the cigarettes. She just thought she was supposed to. He tells her she is wasting time. The ghost of her father taunts her about how she used to be scared of monsters in the closet when she was a little girl. He asks her what she truly hates. He asks what she lost the day he died. Polly realizes the answer. She takes the key she coughed up earlier and opens a locked drawer in her closet. Inside, she finds old photos of her father in the hospital. He is wearing a cross pendant. She finds the actual pendant in the drawer. Polly holds the cross. She realizes she lost her faith when he died. She looks at the cross and says with true emotion, "I hate you." She puts the cross into the box. This time, when she opens it, the cross is gone. The hourglass flips and resets. She has completed the first task, but the night is not over. A woman's voice calls out, "Polly, do you see me?" Polly looks in the mirror. Her reflection is smiling, but Polly is not. The reflection moves on its own, mocking her. The reflection picks up a pair of scissors and starts stabbing the glass from the other side, screaming, "You are dead." Polly looks down and realizes she is holding the scissors in her own hand. The phone rings again. It is her sister, Lainey. Lainey sounds worried and says Polly called her earlier, saying she was scared something would happen to Allie. Polly denies calling her. Lainey says she sees Polly's car pulling up to her house right now. Polly screams, "It's not me," knowing something evil is going to her sister's house. Polly tries to leave, but the doors and windows seal shut. She throws a table at the window, but it won't break. The TV turns on by itself. It plays a home video of her niece, Allie. In the video, Allie's face becomes covered in blood. The video gives her a horrifying hint. It is asking for a toe. The rhyme, "This little piggy," plays over and over. Polly realizes this is the something you need part of the curse. She needs her body parts. She screams and begs not to do it, but the TV shows Allie in danger. Trembling, Polly takes the scissors. She screams in agony as she cuts off her own toe. She drops the severed toe into the box and says, "Something I need." She bandages her foot, sobbing in pain. Her dead mother's ghost appears and tells her to stop crying and to humble herself. Polly checks the box, but the toe is still there. The box rejected it. She panics. The TV flickers again. She realizes the entity tricked her. The reflection in the mirror points to her finger. It wasn't a toe, it was a finger. Polly cries out, "You tricked me," deeply betrayed. But to save Allie, she cuts off her pinky finger. The lights go out. When they come back on, the finger is gone from the box. The hourglass resets. The front door finally unlocks. Polly rushes out and drives to her sister Lainey's house. She uses her spare key to get in. Christmas music is blasting loudly. She runs upstairs and finds a nightmare. Her sister Lainey is dead on the bed. She runs to Allie's room and finds Allie dead too. Polly collapses, holding her niece's body, sobbing uncontrollably. She goes downstairs, broken. The box is sitting there in her sister's living room. It followed her. The phone rings. It is Allie's voice. The voice says, "Auntie P, you haven't finished." Polly screams that she loved them, but the voice says she didn't love them enough. The voice asks, "What do you love?" Polly realizes she has to sacrifice something she loves. She walks back upstairs with a knife, thinking she has to mutilate the bodies. Allie's voice on the phone suggests she take her nose or eyes. Polly refuses. Instead, she cuts a lock of Allie's hair. She puts the hair in the box and whispers, "I will always love you." The hair vanishes. The task seems complete. Suddenly, she hears footsteps. Lainey walks down the stairs, alive and looking normal. She asks Polly when she arrived. Polly runs to Allie's room and finds Allie alive, playing on her bed. Polly is so relieved she starts crying. But then black spots appear on Allie's face. Allie's face turns demonic and she says, "I want to play, Auntie P." The demonic Allie attacks Polly and stabs her. Polly wakes up. It was a vision. She is back at the dining table in her own house. The box is there and the sand is running out.
She screams at the box, calling it a liar. She gave it everything, hate, need, and love, but it still wants more. Desperate, she throws in her jewelry, even pours her own blood into the box, but nothing works. A hand bursts out of the box and tries to drag her inside. Polly fights it off. She remembers the old woman from the beginning. The old woman passed the curse to her to save herself. Polly realizes the only way to survive is to give the box to someone else. She runs out into the street, carrying the box. She screams for help. She sees a light on in a house down the street. She knocks, and a young woman named Tara opens the door. Polly lies. She says she is locked out of her sister's house and needs to make a phone call. Tara is hesitant because her parents are at a party, but she is kind and lets Polly in. Inside, Polly sits down. She feels terrible about what she is about to do. Tara brings her some tea. Polly asks Tara if her name is Tara, even though Tara hadn't told her. Polly just knows things now, like the old woman did. Polly looks at Tara and says, "I don't want to be me anymore." She repeats the same words she said at the start of the movie. She explains she is tired of nothing changing. Tara gets scared and asks what Polly wants. Polly says, for it to stop. Polly tells Tara that her parents aren't coming home, implying they are dead or something bad has happened. Polly puts the box on the table and opens it. She says, "I am going to start now. This box belongs to you." Tara begs her to leave. Polly looks her in the eye and delivers the curse. "You are going to die." The scene cuts to black. But then we see Polly back in her own home. She is sitting by the fireplace. Suddenly, the old woman, the one who gave her the box, appears. This seems to be a battle in a spirit world or a vision. The old woman attacks Polly, saying the box won't let her go and wants her to kill Polly. They fight violently. Polly manages to stab the old woman. As the old woman dies, she explains why this is happening. She says it chooses us because we are broken. She says she tried so hard to satisfy the box, but the fear is what the box feeds on. She tells Polly not to be afraid of dying. Polly stands there, hearing the voices of her dead family and the demons. She realizes that passing the box to Tara is just continuing the cycle of pain. She makes a choice. She says, "I won't do it anymore." She refuses to play the game. She watches the sand in the hourglass run all the way to the bottom. Everything goes black. Polly wakes up in her bed. It is morning. Sunlight is streaming in. She looks at her hand. Her finger is missing, proving the night was real, but she is alive. She looks out the window and sees her neighbor, the one who slit her throat, is actually alive and waving at her. Polly runs to her sister Lainey's house. Lainey is fine. Allie is playing in her room, safe and sound. Polly hugs them tightly, so grateful that the nightmare is over. Polly feels she needs to check on one last thing. She goes to the house where she left the box the night before. She rings the doorbell. Tara opens the door. Tara looks normal. Polly frantically apologizes and asks for the box back, saying she never should have given it to her. Tara looks confused. She asks who Polly is. Tara says she doesn't know what Polly is talking about because she and her parents just got back from a holiday vacation last night.
Polly is confused but relieved. She thinks maybe that part was a hallucination too. She leaves the porch, walking away. However, as Polly walks away, her phone vibrates in her pocket. She is too afraid to look at it. The camera stays with Tara as she walks back inside her house. She sits on her couch. We see the living room wall is smeared with blood. Written on the wall are the words, "Tell no one, trust no one, listen to no one." Tara's hands are hidden, but we see she has chopped off her own fingers. She is clearly under the box's influence. She picks up the wooden box, puts something inside, and whispers, "Something you want." We realize that while Polly might have walked away, the curse did not end. Tara has already killed her parents in the other room. The cycle has successfully passed on to a new victim. The movie ends with Tara sitting in the bloody room, playing the deadly game.